What if I told you that one small handful of nuts, something you've always believed was good for you, might be quietly sabotaging your heart, your brain, and even your bones? Sounds impossible, doesn't it? After all, nuts are supposed to be one of the healthiest snacks on Earth. But in medicine, what we believe and what our bodies actually experience don't always match. I'm Dr. James Rowan, and over my 30 years of working with seniors, I've learned that even healthy foods can turn harmful once the body crosses a certain age. And nothing surprised me more than what happened with one of my patients, a woman who completely changed how I look at nuts forever. Her name was Lorraine. She was 72, widowed, still lively, still witty, and always well put together. She had that warm kind of presence that fills a room. But when she walked into my clinic, she looked tired. Not sick, just drained. She said, "Doctor, I don't understand. I'm doing everything right. I eat healthy, I walk every morning, I take my vitamins. But lately, I just don't feel like myself." As we talked, she mentioned a few symptoms: brain fog, stiffness in her joints, heaviness in her legs. Nothing that screamed disease, but something was off. Her blood work looked fine. Heart function, thyroid, all normal. Still, her energy was slipping, her memory was fuzzy, and her spark was dimming. Then I asked a question I always ask my patients over 60. "What's your favorite daily snack?" Lorraine smiled proudly. "Oh, only healthy nuts. Almonds, cashews, peanuts, sometimes macadamia. I don't touch junk food." That's when a quiet alarm went off in my mind. You see, after 60, the body's chemistry shifts dramatically. Digestion slows, hormones change, and what once healed can now harm. Foods that were once your allies start acting like subtle enemies. And in Lorraine's case, it wasn't disease. It was her daily handful of nuts. I went back to my notes and pulled up a study I'd read years earlier from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. It showed that certain nuts, especially when eaten frequently by older adults, can actually increase the risk of cardiovascular decline by nearly 48%. Not because of toxins or allergies, but because of how aging metabolism handles their fats, minerals, and natural compounds. That statistic haunted me. So I asked Lorraine to make one tiny change: no medication, no supplements. Just swap 2 of her regular nuts for something different. She looked at me puzzled. "That's it?" "That's it," I said. "Let's see what your body says." At the time, I had no idea that this small adjustment would transform her energy, her sleep, her mood, and even her lab results, all within weeks. But it did. And it taught me something powerful. The right nut can heal, but the wrong one can quietly drain life from your cells. Welcome back to Health Facts, your trusted guide to aging wisely. Today, we'll dive into what I call the nut paradox. The 4 nuts that can revive your energy, sharpen your mind, and strengthen your bones. And the 4 that can silently undo all that progress. And yes, we'll come back to Lorraine's story because her transformation still amazes me to this day. This isn't about fear. It's about precision. Because after 60, every bite counts. You don't need fads or fancy superfoods. You just need to know which handfuls truly heal you and which don't. So, let us start with the most underestimated nut in the world, one that can restore thyroid balance, calm your nerves, and even slow cellular aging: the humble Brazil nut. Lorraine was hesitant when I first told her to stop eating her favorite nuts. She looked at me as if I'd just told her to quit breathing. "Doctor," she said, "I've been eating almonds and cashews all my life. They can't be that bad." I smiled. "They're not bad, Lorraine. They're just not right for you. Not anymore." Then I handed her a small list. 4 nuts I wanted her to try instead. Just 4. But these were different. I call them the longevity nuts because they work with an aging body, not against it. Let's start with the first one, the one most people overlook. 1. Brazil nuts, the cell rejuvenator. The Brazil nut looks plain, big, brown, rough. It doesn't look like something special, but inside, it hides one of the most powerful nutrients for seniors, selenium. Now, selenium is what I call the master spark plug of your body. Just 2 Brazil nuts a day can give you all the selenium you need to fight inflammation, protect your thyroid, and even restore your body's natural antioxidant shield. Here's why it matters so much after 60. As we age, our cells lose their defense strength. Free radicals, the tiny molecules that cause cellular rust, begin to damage our heart, brain, and eyes. Selenium from Brazil nuts helps your body rebuild its own protection system called glutathione peroxidase, the ultimate anti-aging enzyme. Studies show seniors who maintain healthy selenium levels have a 41% lower risk of cognitive decline and a 37% lower risk of heart complications. That's not from supplements. That's from food. I told Lorraine, just 2 Brazil nuts a day, not 5, not 10, 2 is enough. She nodded. Within weeks, she said something I'll never forget. My hands aren't trembling anymore when I write, and my brain feels clear. That's selenium working at the cellular level, quietly, powerfully, restoring balance from the inside out. 2. Walnuts, the brain's best friend. Next on my list for Lorraine was the walnut. If you look closely, a walnut looks just like a miniature human brain. And that's not a coincidence. Nature leaves clues, and the walnut's shape is one of them. Walnuts are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, especially ALA, a form of plant-based omega-3 that supports neuron health and improves blood flow to the brain. For seniors, this means sharper memory, improved mood, and slower cognitive aging. There was a major study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Seniors who ate a small handful of walnuts at least 5 times per week scored significantly higher on memory and verbal reasoning tests compared to those who didn't tea. Lorraine had been forgetting small things: keys, appointments, her reading glasses. So I told her, replace your peanuts with walnuts. 3 weeks later, she came back smiling. I don't know if it's coincidence, doctor, but I feel like my brain fog just lifted. That's the walnut effect. Subtle, steady, real. And because they contain antioxidants like polyphenols, walnuts also protect blood vessels and lower LDL cholesterol, helping prevent heart disease, one of the biggest threats to seniors worldwide. If there's one nut every senior should keep in their pantry, it's this one. Just remember, a small handful a day, about 7 halves, is all your body needs. 3. Pistachios, the circulation healer. When Lorraine first heard me say pistachios, she laughed. Those green little things? I thought they were just for ice cream. Not quite. Pistachios are what I call the circulation nuts. They're rich in L-arginine, an amino acid that helps your arteries relax and expand, improving blood flow and lowering blood pressure naturally. Poor circulation is a silent enemy in aging. It causes cold feet, numb fingers, fatigue, and even affects memory because your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. Just a handful of pistachios, around 40 to 50 kernels, can dramatically improve nitric oxide production, helping your arteries stay flexible and your blood move freely. And here's something even more fascinating. Pistachios may help with blood sugar control. A 2021 Spanish study found that older adults who added pistachios to their daily diet had lower fasting glucose and insulin resistance within 12 weeks. Lorraine had mild pre-diabetes, nothing alarming but worth watching. After 2 months on pistachios, her fasting sugar dropped from 102 to 92 mg/dl. No medication, no supplements, just pistachios. That's food as medicine. 4. Pecans, the heart protector. Finally, we come to the pecan. Soft, buttery, slightly sweet. Pecans don't get enough credit, but they're one of the richest nuts in monounsaturated fats, similar to olive oil. For seniors, these fats are gold. They lower bad cholesterol, LDL, raise good cholesterol, HDL, and reduce inflammation in blood vessels. In fact, a clinical study from the University of Georgia showed that adding just 1 ounce of pecans per day reduced LDL oxidation, the process that leads to artery plaque, by nearly 33%. I told Lorraine, a few pecans each evening can calm your heart while you sleep. And it did. Her blood pressure stabilized, her energy came back, and for the first time in months, she told me she was sleeping deeply through the night. That's because pecans also contain magnesium and thiamine, two nutrients that relax the nervous system and improve heart rhythm. If Brazil nuts recharge your cells and walnuts sharpen your brain, then pecans are your nighttime healers, working quietly while you rest. The four together, nature's daily defense. When I put these 4 nuts together, Brazil nuts, walnuts, pistachios, and pecans, I call them the Senior Shield. Each one targets a different system. Brazil nuts, cellular repair and thyroid balance; walnuts, brain and memory support; pistachios, circulation and sugar control; pecans, heart and nerve protection. Together, they form a complete defense system, one that works naturally, silently, and safely. I had Lorraine rotate them through her week. 2 Brazil nuts on Monday, walnuts midweek, pistachios in the afternoon, and pecans after dinner. No complicated plan, no counting calories, just mindful choices. And within 2 months, her eyes were brighter, her energy was back, and her blood reports looked better than they had in 5 years. She said, "Doctor, I didn't change anything else, just the nuts." And I said, "That's often all it takes, the right foods in the right hands." But of course, not all nuts are this gentle. Some that we think are healthy can, over time, work against the aging body, spiking inflammation, hurting the liver, or even weakening bones. And that's exactly what I discovered when I looked deeper into Lorraine's old habits. So in the next section, let's talk about the 4 nuts every senior should avoid, or at least eat with extreme caution. Because the difference between health and harm might just be hiding in the smallest handful. When Lorraine told me about the nuts she had been eating daily, almonds, cashews, peanuts, and macadamias, I didn't blame her. These are the same nuts almost everyone believes are healthy. They're easy to find, taste good, and seem harmless. But as I told her that day in my office, what's good for a 30-year-old isn't always good for a 70-year-old. Our metabolism, liver function, and digestive enzymes change as we age. What used to nourish us can now burden our system, and that's especially true for these 4. Let's look at them one by one. 1. Almonds, the silent calcium thief. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doctor, aren't almonds supposed to be heart healthy? Yes, in moderation, and for the right body. But for seniors, almonds can quietly cause more harm than good. Here's why. Almonds are high in something called oxalates, natural compounds that bind to calcium in your body. When that happens, calcium becomes unavailable for your bones and instead can collect in your kidneys, forming stones or deposits. And after 60, your kidneys are not as efficient as they once were. That means oxalates can build up faster, increasing your risk of kidney stones, joint pain, and even bone demineralization. Lorraine's medical history included mild osteopenia, early bone thinning. She believed eating almonds daily would help strengthen her bones. But in reality, the oxalates in those almonds were blocking her body from using the calcium she was already consuming. After she stopped eating almonds every day and replaced them with walnuts and pecans, her next bone density scan actually improved slightly, something I rarely see in seniors without medication. So here's my advice. If you love almonds, treat them like a dessert, not a daily habit. A small handful once or twice a week is fine, but soaking them overnight and removing the skin makes them gentler on your system. 2. Cashews, the inflammation. Trigger. Cashews are delicious, creamy, buttery, easy to snack on. But inside that smooth texture lies something seniors should watch closely: high omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6s aren't bad by themselves. Your body needs them, but in balance with omega-3s. Here's the problem. Most modern diets already contain too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3. When that ratio gets too wide, inflammation rises, slowly, quietly, and persistently. It starts showing up as joint stiffness, fatigue, foggy thinking, and even skin irritation. Cashews are also high in something called urushiol, the same compound found in poison ivy, though in smaller amounts. Some seniors with sensitive immune systems can react to it with digestive discomfort or inflammation. Lorraine had no idea this was part of her problem. She told me her joints often felt puffy in the mornings, but she thought it was just age. After removing cashews from her diet, that puffiness disappeared within weeks. Cashews are fine occasionally, but for aging bodies dealing with chronic inflammation or arthritis, they can act like adding gasoline to a slow-burning fire. So I tell my patients, enjoy cashews sparingly, not as a daily snack. 3. Peanuts, the hidden toxin carrier. When I asked Lorraine how often she ate peanuts, she laughed. "Oh, doctor, I have them almost every day. Roasted, salted, sometimes peanut butter. It's my favorite." That's when I sighed and said, "Lorraine, I used to think the same, until I looked deeper." Peanuts aren't technically nuts. They're legumes like beans. And because they grow underground, they're extremely prone to mold contamination, especially from a toxic compound called aflatoxin. Aflatoxin is produced by a fungus that thrives in warm, humid storage environments. It's been linked to liver stress, reduced immune function, and long-term cellular damage, even in small, repeated amounts. Now, most commercial peanuts are tested and regulated. But testing doesn't catch everything. And with repeated daily exposure, even trace levels can build up. For older adults, whose liver function naturally slows, that buildup can be dangerous. It is like adding 1 drop of oil to a clean glass of water every day. Eventually, the clarity fades. I asked Lorraine to stop all peanut products for 1 month. At her follow-up, she said, "Doctor, my stomach doesn't feel heavy anymore after snacks, and I've stopped waking up bloated." That was her liver thanking her. So while peanuts are inexpensive and tasty, they're best avoided as a regular food, especially for seniors. If you must have something similar, almond or pistachio butter, unsalted, natural, is a safer alternative. 4. Macadamia nuts, the metabolic trap. This one surprises many people. Macadamia nuts have a reputation for being keto-friendly and heart-healthy because they re-full of monounsaturated fats. And for younger adults, that's often true. But for seniors, it's a different story. Macadamias are one of the most calorie-dense nuts in existence, nearly 200 calories per ounce. That wouldn't be an issue if your metabolism burned calories like it did in your 30s. But after 60, your body processes fat and calories more slowly, especially if you're not physically active. When Lorraine switched to macadamia nuts as part of a healthy fat diet she'd seen online, she gained 4 pounds in a month, even though she was eating smaller meals. Her body simply couldn't keep up with the calorie load. The excess fat wasn't just adding weight, it was also increasing her triglycerides, which showed up clearly in her blood test. Macadamia nuts also lack the fiber and protein balance that other nuts, like pistachios or walnuts, provide. That means they spike your calorie intake without giving you long-lasting satiety or blood sugar stability. For younger people, that's a minor inconvenience. For seniors, it can mean unwanted weight gain, rising triglycerides, and greater strain on the liver and pancreas. So I told Lorraine, macadamias are a treat, not a tonic. Keep them for holidays, not every day. The aging body and nut sensitivity. Now, you might be wondering why these nuts, once considered healthy, become problematic with age. Here's the truth. Your body changes its entire metabolic rhythm after 60. Liver enzymes slow down, making it harder to process fats and toxins. Digestive acids weaken, reducing nutrient absorption. Kidney filtration declines, which means more minerals and oxalates can build up. Inflammation increases, especially when omega-6 fats dominate the diet. So even a small mismatch between your food and your body's new chemistry can add up, day by day, bite by bite. That is why the same almonds or peanuts that helped you in your 40s might quietly hurt you in your 70s. The key is not to fear food, but to understand it. To choose foods that align with the way your body works now, not the way it worked 20 years ago. Lorraine learned that lesson the gentle way. She didn't give up nuts. She just changed them. And in doing so, she turned her snacks from silent saboteurs into daily medicine. In the next part, I'll show you how to combine the right nuts for maximum benefit, the Senior Shield blend, and how timing, portion, and pairings can dramatically boost your results in just 30 days, because longevity isn't built from pills or promises, it's built from simple, consistent choices, one handful at a time. Lorraine's story didn't end with removing the wrong nuts. It truly began when she learned how to eat the right ones, the right way. You see, when I first told her to switch to Brazil nuts, walnuts, pistachios, and pecans, she thought it was as simple as tossing them into a bowl. But like medicine, food works best with timing, balance, and consistency. In this part, I'll show you exactly how I helped Lorraine structure her nut routine, what I now call the Senior Shield Plan, a simple, natural, daily rhythm that keeps your cells energized, your memory sharp, and your heart calm. The first thing Lorraine changed was her morning routine. Before, she used to have tea and a handful of mixed nuts, mostly almonds and peanuts. Now I asked her to begin her mornings with something very specific. Morning ritual, 1 to 2, Brazil nuts, no more than that, a glass of warm water with lemon or a light green tea, followed by her normal breakfast, eggs, oats, or fruit. Why this combination? Because Brazil nuts are rich in selenium, which helps switch on your thyroid, the gland that controls your energy and metabolism. Most seniors wake up sluggish not because they're tired, but because their thyroid is underactive. That small dose of selenium in the morning helps jumpstart your metabolism and energize your brain for the day ahead. Within 10 days, Lorraine told me, "Doctor, I'm waking up before my alarm. I haven't done that in years." That's what balance feels like. Calm energy without caffeine crashes. Around lunchtime, the body goes through another dip. Digestion slows, blood sugar fluctuates, and you might feel foggy or unfocused. That's when I told Lorraine to reach for her walnuts. Midday ritual, 4-6 walnut halves. Pair with fruit like apple slices or a few berries. Drink a full glass of water afterward. The combination of omega-3s in walnuts and natural antioxidants in fruit creates a powerful effect on brain function. It improves blood flow to the hippocampus, the memory center, and reduces the inflammation that causes mental fatigue. Lorraine used to forget names mid-sentence. After 2 weeks of this simple change, she told me with a bright smile, "I remembered every single item on my shopping list this morning. No notes." That's not magic. That's circulation and neuron health working in harmony. By late afternoon, many seniors experience what I call energy dip syndrome. You're not tired enough to sleep, but not alert enough to be productive. Your blood sugar drops slightly, circulation slows, and oxygen flow to the brain decreases. That's when I told Lorraine, "It's time for your pistachio hour." Afternoon ritual. A small handful of pistachios, about 40 pieces, sip water or green tea alongside, best taken around 3 p.m. The L-arginine in pistachios helps open up your blood vessels, improving circulation and oxygen delivery to the brain. Many of my older patients notice their hands and feet feel warmer after this snack, a sign of better blood flow. It also stabilizes blood sugar, preventing that post-lunch crash that makes you feel heavy or sleepy. Lorraine called it her green miracle. She said, "Doctor, I used to nap every afternoon. Now I use that time to walk in the garden instead. Small habit, big difference." As night falls, your body begins its repair cycle, rebuilding tissues, balancing hormones, and cleansing the liver. That's when the right food can help your body heal naturally during sleep. Evening ritual: 5-6 pecan halves. A warm cup of herbal tea or milk before bed. Pecans are rich in healthy fats and magnesium, which help calm the nervous system and relax muscles. They gently lower stress hormones like cortisol and support deeper, longer sleep, something many seniors struggle with. Lorraine told me, "I didn't think food could help me sleep, but I'm sleeping through the night now. No tossing, no turning." That's the beauty of pecans. They don't sedate you, they soothe you. The weekly rotation. Keeping balance. I always tell my patients, even healthy foods need balance. Don't eat the same nut every single day for months on end. Rotate them through the week. Here's the Senior Shield rotation I gave Lorraine. Day nut primary benefit. Monday, Brazil nuts, thyroid and antioxidant boost. Tuesday, walnuts brain clarity. Wednesday, pistachios, circulation and blood sugar. Thursday, pecans, heart calm and sleep support. Friday, Brazil, plus walnut combo, energy, plus cognition. Saturday, pistachio, plus pecan combo, circulation, plus rest Sunday, rest day, no nuts, let digestion reset. This gentle rotation prevents nutrient overload, keeps your digestion light, and ensures you get a full range of minerals and antioxidants throughout the week. Here are the key principles I teach every senior patient. Simple, memorable, and powerful. Rule 1. Always choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted nuts. Salted or flavored versions raise blood pressure and add unnecessary sodium. Rule 2. Store nuts in a cool, dark place, even in the refrigerator if you live in a warm climate. Heat causes the oils to oxidize, which can harm your heart. Rule 3. Never eat nuts directly after a heavy meal. Space them between meals so your body can absorb the nutrients properly. Rule 4. Always drink a full glass of water after eating nuts. It helps your kidneys process minerals efficiently. Rule 5. Combine nuts with fiber, fruits, vegetables, or oats for better digestion and steady blood sugar. These might sound simple, but simplicity is the essence of longevity. 2 months after we started the Senior Shield plan, Lorraine came for her follow-up. Her blood pressure had dropped from 138/84 to 122/76. Her fasting glucose was down to 92. Her triglycerides fell by almost 25 points. But what amazed me most wasn't the numbers. It was her face. Her skin had a natural glow. Her posture was straighter. Her voice sounded alive again. She said, "Doctor, I feel like someone turned the lights back on inside me." That's the power of small, consistent nutrition. Not a diet, not deprivation, but a recalibration. She hadn't changed her exercise, medication, or sleep schedule. Just her daily handful of nuts, chosen wisely, timed correctly, and eaten mindfully. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, try the Senior Shield plan. Choose only from the 4 good nuts: Brazil, walnut, pistachio, and pecan. Follow the morning, midday, afternoon, and evening timing. Avoid almonds, cashews, peanuts, and macadamias during this period. Drink plenty of water and note how you feel each week. Most seniors notice results within 10 to 14 days. Lighter digestion, better focus, improved sleep, and a calm, steady energy throughout the day. You don't need supplements or strict diets, just the right handfuls at the right time. Because nature already gave you the medicine. You just have to eat it correctly. When Lorraine walked into my clinic for her 3rd appointment, I almost didn't recognize her. Her cheeks had color again. Her step was lighter. Even her laughter, that soft, musical laugh she used to hide behind fatigue, had returned. She said, "Doctor, I feel like my body's been asleep for years and finally woke up." And as I looked at her, I realized something that I've seen hundreds of times, yet it never stops amazing me. How the simplest changes often bring the greatest results. No new medications, no expensive therapies, just a different handful of nuts, eaten with purpose, rhythm, and respect for her changing body. Here's the truth. Your body never forgets how to heal. It just needs you to give it the right tools again. Every cell in your body, all 37 trillion of them, renews itself constantly. Your skin regenerates every month. Your stomach lining rebuilds every week. Even your bones, the hardest parts of you, quietly replace themselves every few years. That means you're never too old to start healing. Never. When you give your body what it recognizes, real, whole food, in the right balance, it remembers how to repair, how to protect, how to thrive. Lorraine's case wasn't a miracle. It was biology. Awakened. Most of us grow up believing health is something that's done to us. A doctor's prescription, a pill, a surgery, a diagnosis. But true health is something we build, meal by meal, step by step, breath by breath. Lorraine told me, "Doctor, I used to eat on autopilot. I never asked whether the food I loved still loved me back." That one sentence stayed with me, because that's what aging really is. Not decline, but change. Your body isn't failing you. It's asking for a different kind of care. When you start listening, truly listening, you realize that nature already provides everything you need. You don't have to fight aging. You have to cooperate with it. And that's what the Senior Shield Plan is. A way to cooperate with your body's wisdom. Health doesn't live in complex plans. It lives in small, consistent habits. A glass of water before every meal, a short walk after dinner, a handful of the right nuts at the right time. Each act may seem insignificant, but together they form a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes your healing. When Lorraine replaced confusion with consistency, her body responded with gratitude. And I promise you, yours will too. There's a phrase I often share with my patients. You don't stop living when you age. You start aging when you stop living. Your 60s, 70s, even your 80s. These aren't years of decline. They're years of harvest. Everything you've learned, everything you've experienced. This is when you use that wisdom to take control of your health. Start with awareness, add consistency, and finish with gratitude. Because gratitude itself, the simple act of appreciating what your body can still do, changes your chemistry. It lowers stress hormones, improves circulation, and strengthens immunity. That's not poetry. That's science. Before she left my office that last time, Lorraine said, "I've learned that health isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most." She was right. She didn't just change her snacks. She changed her relationship with food, with her body, with life itself. And the transformation followed naturally. 6 months later, she sent me a postcard from a hiking trail in Colorado. On the back, she'd written, "Still walking, still strong, still grateful. Thank you for reminding me that it's never too late to feel alive again." That postcard hangs in my office to this. So now it's your turn. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis or a health scare to start. You can begin today, right now, with a single, mindful choice. Maybe it's swapping your almonds for walnuts. Maybe it's replacing salted peanuts with pistachios. Maybe it's just pausing before you eat and asking, "Is this helping me heal?" Every small choice becomes a message to your body. A signal that says, "I still care. I still want to live well." And your body will listen. It always does. I often tell my patients, longevity isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. If you remember nothing else from this message, remember this. Your health isn't a mystery. It's a reflection of the care you give yourself every single day. The right foods, the right mindset, the right rhythm. That's the real prescription for aging beautifully. So take that handful, the right handful, and make it your daily promise. To live with strength, with clarity, with calm energy, and with the quiet confidence that your best years aren't behind you. They're just beginning. This is Dr. James Rowan, reminding you, your health is your story, and every meal, every moment is a chance to write a better chapter.